I think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop reproducing. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
We do not trust any
yet
friends
in the
or
news.
family members. I repeat,
Everybody was fucking, oh, racist grandpa has all that classified material over at Mar-a-Lago. Oh no. And everyone's in this like stupid moral panic about it. And then old Joe Cage, the latest news stories are like, confidential material found in Joe Biden's secondary locations. You know, it's just something that these fuckers do. They just carry this stuff around because of course they do. And I don't know. I always felt like the Mar-a-Lago thing was like a tempest in a teapot, and the only reason anybody gave a shit is because like racist grandpa tried to hide it.
I don't give a fuck I don't care what any of that. It doesn't matter. Why is everyone passionate about that?
Well, it's because honestly, it goes back to Hillary Clinton, I believe, and keeping all that in those. I bet you could trace it all the way back to Benghazi somehow with these fucking people. But just like the tit for tat nature of it is just like she kept all this information on her own private server and confidential data, and it's just a tomato that they throw at each other constantly.
That's weird. Because Smoking Joe, it's salmonella is more of a concern for Smoking Joe than classified data. He's so fucking old.
Oh yeah, no, and he like act like he's
so brazen and he's incompetent.
He certainly seems that way.
He's a front man, some kind of bizarre ancient puppet.
My goodness.
Yeah.
I think he's perfectly capable of serving in the capacity of president and does so. Like I just think he's just too fucking old.
He's barely fucking capable of collecting breakfast in the morning
from a
fucking restaurant. He's useless.
I like that those narratives that emerge around people. Like old Joe Cage. He can't. It's unfortunate because his attitude, like his entire demeanor, his appearance, it just lends itself to it perfectly. I don't agree with you, but I agree with you.
I'm just being an ass, but the fact that you can catch him off guard sometimes, just being fucking deaf and senile, and it's just it just lends itself to pure comedy.
It does, yeah.
But I mean, Donald was like that too. Donald's a madman. He's
for sure.
He's not. His senility just shone through. He's an absolute fucking donkey, and people just fit him into whatever narrative they chose. And he had a very good way. He has a very good understanding of media and what's going to be done when he does little nuancey shitty things. And
yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's true. He has a genius for it. He has a genius for sort of propaganda and demagoguery. It's really remarkable. Kind of reminds me of Stalin,
Oh boy. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Hi everyone. It's the X-tinction Agenda, and today another installment of No Veto. Today was my selection, and I chose The Death of Stalin. Movie from 2017, Armando Iannucci. I believe that's how we're pronouncing that. I know about this dude from, I think the first time I bumped into Iannucci was watching The Thick of It. It's a British politics show. It's very much like Death of Stalin. This is what this guy does. He does this political satire. He's the creator of Veep with Julia Louis-Dreyfus. He's done a lot of TV, and then he also
what's odd actually. I've actually in the past, I guess not too far in the past, but I've treated myself to a little bit of Darkest Hour.
Was that another one of his?
Yeah, it's Gary Oldman playing Winston Churchill from 2017. It was a big movie. I sampled a little bit of it at the time. I was fairly excited about it. But
I didn't realize that was him. That's funny.
Yeah.
I maybe haven't looked at the list this morning, but I guess I was I was more taken, like I focused more on In the Loop. Who's the Tony Soprano guy? What's that fucking dude's
No,
name?
sorry, excuse me. It's
What?
not. It's not him. It's You Might Like. So that's my bad.
Oh, I see. Okay, I was like, anyway.
I thought it was part of the filmography, but it's not. Yeah.
Gotcha. Anyway, he does these movies. He does political satire, and he's as you can see, he has a very dark heart and really likes. But this is, I think, of all the things that I've seen, like and I haven't exhausted Iannucci's library by any stretch, but this is just like, this movie's so fucking dark, and it makes sense because it's about the death of Stalin and the transition of power from Stalin to Khrushchev, and sort of a satirical dramedy of what that power struggle looked like. Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually very early on realized that nobody was going to fake an accent, which I actually which I really like, because I mean, this is a comedy, obviously, like a black comedy, very deadpan serving of mannerisms and jokes.
Mm-hmm.
There's not everything is delivered with intention to be funny, but it's not funny because of the scenarios. So you kind of find yourself doing that little light snicker, that little
Yeah.
as like stupid things happen. But I think it's better for the actors, for me, to be able to just deliver their lines and scenarios with their native behaviors and accents. For me, that works better than everybody trying to fake a Russian accent anyway. But
yeah, this would have been too like, it's weird to say, this would have been too comedic if they were acting like a bunch of, because they're already acting like a bunch of buffoons, like, or vicious monsters, and to have them also like do a Russian accent, it would be too buffoonish, I think. And yeah, I agree.
It would make me make it a lot more slapsticky, and it was already pretty there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you got, like, I mean, okay, so the cast here, we got Steve Buscemi as Khrushchev.
Yeah.
I don't know Simon Russell Beale as Beria, but fuck that guy. What a show stealer.
He was
Yeah.
excellent. I don't actually, the actor, I'm not like, I've seen movies with him in it, but I'm not like super familiar, where I could get excited about him when I see him, but he really stole the show. Yeah. Jeffrey Tambor, obviously.
Yeah. And Michael, what's it? It's Palin? I guess that's how we're pronouncing it. Sorry, I've never from Monty Python. It's Palin. Yeah, and they're all playing the Central Committee, and they're dealing with the death of Stalin. Yeah, and just like the cast itself is, obviously, it's just a bunch of comedians for the most part. I mean, each of them can do well. Not Jeffrey Tambor. I don't know if he has seriousness in him. But
no, he doesn't. No. He doesn't. No. A lot of funny British guys.
Yeah.
I recognize it. There's the gentleman Tom Brooke who plays Arseface.
Oh, really?
Obviously, in The Preacher, he was in there.
Right.
Yeah, Paddy Considine.
Was that Stalin's son?
No. He was one of the guys in the booth, working with the music composers and stuff.
Oh shit! Okay, I know. Yeah, at the beginning.
Yeah. Stalin's son, the guy that played Stalin's son was actually phenomenal. Fuck, that cracked me up when he got into it with he's actually, like, what's his name? Richard Brake. He's actually a big Rob Zombie guy. He works with Rob Zombie a lot. He's a horror trope kind of guy. When they wrestle for the pistol, when his dad's on the operating table.
Yeah.
And they're wrestling. It's so fucking awkward. It takes like 5 minutes. But let that be a warning to you. Fuck. I feel like I was shocked because of the subject matter, and I think if I watched it a second time, I would laugh a lot more, because there were like subtle nuances, but just like, because there was like a horror element to it, I was stunned a lot as well.
Yeah, it again, it's to me this movie has the perfect blend of black and comedy to be a black comedy. And I found this movie like when I first watched it, like this is a chilling movie because like even though it's a farce that looks like reality. In like if you're like fuck, of course, it's exactly like this with people. It's exactly like this at the power structure, at the center of power, in any government. Like whatever racist grandpa is up to, whatever Joe Cage is up to, like at the White House, like it's like this fucking buffoonery all the time. Obviously it's pushed up to 10 here, and like there's no sense that any of these people are professionals.
No,
But
no. And they're all trying to backstab each other. I really enjoyed Jason Isaacs as well when Field Marshal
yes,
entered the scene.
Yeah.
That was great. That was when the power struggle shifted into Khrushchev's favor a little bit more. He was on his heels. He was on his heels for quite some time there because Barry was putting the pins to him.
Yeah. I just like the like the horror of Beria and the security apparatus. So I did a little reading, and like you would ask me, like, is this accurate? And for the most part, yes. But there's a lot of, I don't know if we could call them minor historical inaccuracies. Ultimately, it doesn't matter, right?
Well,
like,
yeah, obviously they added like hilarity, arguing over kneeling in Stalin's like defecation scene when he had his initial like aneurysm or whatever, and just like the ridiculousness of them doing like a Monty Python like esque sort of carrying of his lifeless body to the bed and then having him fucking wake up.
Yeah.
All that stuff it's obviously, I don't know if that happened, but I hope it didn't happen like that.
Yeah, very well. Even like much larger, like for instance, and one thing that I never did was bone up on Russian history. I have some familiarity with some of the names and the broad sweeps or whatever, but it was never something that I read intensely about. So I'm largely ignorant, and I think maybe it contributed to letting me just kind of enjoy the movie.
That's good. Yeah. Well, you know what? Honestly, any text you read, it probably lies anyway.
Well, definitely about Russians.
Oh, come on.
Right?
That's enough.
Yeah.
That's Jesus.
So Stalin died March of 1953. The coup that's depicted in this story takes place in June of 1953, and it's not because of the burial of Stalin. It's because there's an uprising in East Berlin and a bunch of other shit goes down, and they're like, fuck, we got to get rid of Beria. He's arrested shortly after, but he's not killed until December 23rd, 1953. So this story is a compressed, altered version, but it's, the broad strokes are kind of true. Like it's true enough that you're like, oh fuck, this is terrifying. Yeah. So one of the things,
Oh, sorry. Ahead. No, go ahead. No.
Now we're just like we're in the movie. The one of the things that I think I'm certain structures the movie and makes me think that and makes this movie less about, because they could have easily, a different movie might have depicted the death of Stalin as the death of like the head gangster, and then everybody going to war afterwards in order to determine who the new head gangster is. And that is exactly what happens, let's be clear, but it's structured, their machinations and the things that they have to do are constrained by the constitution of the Soviet Union. And so everybody's trapped by law and social graces, and they have to maneuver in the background, and everybody's just like, there's only two people who really, Khrushchev and Beria, who are adept at operating within those spaces, and everyone else just like is trapped and foolish because
Well,
of
it's
those
yeah, it's
constraints.
they all do that sort of like hilarity thing where they're all like still sort of worshiping Stalin just out of like whether it's just out of like habit or like general safety. Like
Yeah.
I think I think we love this, to be this way, or I think we love this policy, or
Yeah.
they're
Should
not
we
sure,
get those doctors?
yeah, that adds radicalism, liberalism.
Yeah. And I like that. Oh yeah. Well, speaking of when they like when Stalin first dies, like, and the reason, one of the many many reasons this movie works is just because the actors can pull it off. Like everybody's reaction to Stalin's death, they're crying, but they're also laughing, and every actor like conveys sadness but also elation like under the surface without overselling it or underselling it. Like it feels very human. Like you have to pretend that you're sad, but you're like ding dong, the witch is dead, right?
Right. And I love how Stalin died also.
Oh yeah.
Reading a letter that was like just slandering what a monster he was and his policies and just starts cackling and then has a stroke.
And the acting in that moment when he's like, because he's at first he's just laughing, and then like it transfers to him having a stroke, and then he starts, and then it's like he's like fuck, and it's a it's a very like very visible yet subtle transition state prior to his sort of comedic fall down, when he immediately pisses himself.
I love when he comes back and he's paralyzed, and he's pointing at this fucking ludicrous painting, and they're all trying to interpret his future fucking like he's prophesizing as he's fucking dying in front of them.
Maybe the milk is Stalin. Yeah. Yeah, there it is. And yeah, actually it's a good, and then it's smart because like, okay, this happens, and then everybody leaves the room, and then someone comes out and it's just like Stalin's dead. And like for all intents and purposes he's been dead, but that's 40 minutes into the movie before he actually dies.
Oh yeah, that was the that was like honestly that was all that bizarre buildup that had sort of like built additional strife for Maria, and that's what caused the tie-in to, or that's where Barrio was trying to, he got the letter, and he was trying to angle, he just had a leg up.
Are we ready for the balcony wave?
Who's going to carry the can for this farrago of shit?
That's easy, Khrushchev. He put the trains back on.
And you shot the people getting off them.
Yes, he has a point.
No, he doesn't. There's no point in the key to Khrushchev.
Well, how about this? We blame the security forces, right? Hothead officers on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I'm sorry. Do you still possess a working brain? You dumb animal. I am the security forces. And I'm not going to be made the villain for this catastrophe. Absolutely not.
Look, even if you do get blamed, we close ranks.
Yes, anyone has a pop at you, they have to come through us first.
Yes, good idea. Give me the girl. All right? And a lot of this is your own doing, my friend.
Spineless, right? You're just a cadaver we propped up in a corset.
Hey, easy.
Look, it's time all of you realised who kept the daggers out of your backs. Show some fucking respect. I've got documents. I have documents on all of you. You, 13th of March, 1937, Zolotov trials, 42 dead, 173 exiled. Your signature. That's enough. Yeah, well, you signed on the life of your own fucking brother.
Oh, you think that was easy, you bastard?
Of Gorev, how did your conscience accommodate that? And Zykov, poor blameless, guileless Zykov, all of you. All of you. I have documents on all of you. I've seen what you've done. I know the truth. It's all written down. It's all written down on a thing, on a very fucking long list. Just pick them up.
Are we done?
We will convene tomorrow
Right.
after the funeral.
There you go.
I will nominate some scapegoats. We can arraign a couple of the
There you go.
officers who fired.
No harm done.
Are you
It's
okay?
only comrades and friends that could shout at each other like this.
All right, so we'll fix this in committee, all right?
Right.
Are you
He's
okay?
losing you, Georgie. He's losing you, and then he's going to kill you. You saw those papers?
What are you talking about?
Oh, what am I
Jesus, Nicky, he was pointing at you. He wasn't pointing at me.
No. He said all of you.
No, I was over there. No, and he went, all of you.
Yeah, all of you. All of you.
No.
Yes.
All of you.
No, he said all of you.
You know, all of you can kiss my Russian ass. All of you. On the balcony.
Yeah, pretty. I've got your lists. You know, like, I know what you did. Yeah, and everyone's under the pressure cooker, and you don't get the sense that that he's as under pressure as everybody else. But except for when Stalin comes back to life, then he's very upset. Beria is. Yeah, I like how Iannucci manages. So at the beginning, we're introduced to Beria's lists and the purging. You know, like send out. You know, and just like the terror apparatus of Stalinism and people being rounded up. And there's this one scene where like the son is shown obviously informing on his dad. Your dad's in here, okay? And he shows the picture, and they're like, "Thank you very much." And they go in and get the guy's dad, and they take him off to the gulag. And then later on, after Stalin's death, and they initiate those reforms and start releasing prisoners.
Yeah, that's right.
The dad goes home to his son, and it's like, that's not really required for this movie, but it's just like, it's draining comedy out of what no doubt actually occurred in history, like families informing on each other, and then like the reunion afterwards. And like I was just like, that's such a subtle little touch, and really going out of your way to just dig up as much comedic material and drama or just funny sort of Seinfeldian moments.
It's true, and a lot of it was done with like just deadpan reactions, like the son's reaction to dad coming home after, where he's doing like the hard swallow, like you know,
Yeah.
it's just fucking, it's just funny. It's all subtle. It's just funny. And oh man, what's his name now? I'm dying here on the vine.
You know, I had the same problem a couple seconds ago.
There were so many great actors in it. Even Kate sort of dipped in about halfway through and was like, "This is there's actually a lot of big actors in this. This is pretty good."
Yeah.
She was trying to sort out the coup and everything, but she only came into the movie like halfway through, so it had already sort of like a lot of things had already played out. But yeah, Buscemi was amazing. And I did an inaccuracy, pardon me, on poor Tom Brooke. Tom Brooke is in The Preacher, but he plays one of the sort of goofy cowboy killer angel guys or whatever that get killed over and over again by Jesse. He's one of those guys. It's my bad.
Okay. No, that's okay. I'm not sure how many people would. I forgive you. You can tell me anything you want about TV, and I'll just be like, "Oh yeah, really? Oh, I heard that."
That's good TV. That's good TV.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, one thing that one of the reasons this movie haunts me is just because like how simple it is to have a society like this, for a society like this to come about. Like obviously, you know, there has to be massive disruption. There was, like a civil war, etc. But like, there's no one of the reasons everybody's afraid, both on the right and the left, of fascism or totalitarianism or whatever fucking ism they throw around. Like ultimately, they're concerned about about a society that looks like this, where there's a central committee, and people disappear in the night. And there's censorship and fear, like those guys at the beginning.
No, they immediately start passing around the lists, you mean, and shooting everybody?
Yeah.
Fucking terrible.
Yeah. And it could so easily happen again. Like this is a major constituent feature of 20th century politics. Like, like the genie's out of the bottle. Like, look at China. I don't know, North Korea, I suppose, as well. Elements of Russia, even nowadays. This is something that we need to be afraid of, and this movie shows us why, or helps remind us why. But it doesn't do so in a really like preachy way. This movie doesn't preach. It doesn't really have a moral lesson other than like, well, does have a moral lesson, but like even at the end, it's just like Khrushchev, became chairman, and then until Brezhnev, and it already shows the guy looking over his shoulder, hunting for
right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And yeah, that's it. It's just it's I just find it very haunting that Barry is basically like torture prisons, essentially, his rape camps, like all that stuff. Like there's a very thin line between like the life that we live and the life that's depicted here, and comedy or not. I think it's worse to me that it's a comedy. Like I could, something about laughing at it and being stuck in that horror.
Well, yeah, that's just it was so shocking, and to have even they were making like a huge joke of it when they were running down that old guy with the dog, but there's no fucking doctors. They shot them or killed them or debunked them or threw them under the bus for problems. They couldn't find a fucking doctor to even figure out what was wrong with him.
Yeah.
They had to go get a busload of them that they like drudged up from like alleyways or out of hiding or retirement. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah. And it just goes to, it speaks to like what happens to like because everywhere looks civilized. Everywhere looks majestic. Like in this movie, there's never any hovels. There's obviously like the torture prisons and the small apartments. Even for the committee members, they don't live in luxury exactly. Only Stalin does. But the main square where they pick up that doctor, it's in the fountains and stuff like that. Like,
yeah. It's very grand show.
Yeah. But for the most part, the grand show is just that. It's just a show. Something, but below the surface, it's it's fucking this. Yeah.
Yeah, Vasily was Vasily the one that was taking shots at the doctors? You don't even look like a human.
How old are you?
He's like 100. Oh, the young kid.
Yeah, 26. Yeah.
Old.
Yeah.
No, you're not. I think that was the second time they asked him how old he was.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know, like I don't have a lot really to say about this other than like it was, to my eyes, like a fucking really great, very disturbing movie with like excellent actors. I'm watching Buscemi's just running through the door and he's like he's in the overtop of the toilet. He's nothing's coming up. Or he's thrown up. Yeah, it's just I kind of just wanted you to watch it. I think that's really was my motivation.
I think I'm going to be, and I wouldn't have watched it, but now I'll probably watch it a couple of times. And I would suggest anybody that watches it thinks about it and watches it a second time, because I think I'm going to take more comedy away the second time, because there was a lot woven into the dialogues and behaviors and sort of slapstickery, and the fucker thinks he could take on the Red Army. I fuck Germany.
Oh man, yeah. Jason Isaacs is a beauty in that. Yeah, you don't mind Georgie, and he's got like the weirdest accent.
I think he's Australian.
Yeah, he. Yeah, no, they just. Yeah, and he comes. I love when they English. I love when I don't think he actually is though. I honestly don't know that though.
Not me either, actually.
Yeah, I love how they introduce everybody, and I think that's what first, like, I was interested in this movie because it was Iannucci, and you get in and you're enjoying it, and the first thing with the concerto where they have to re-record it because Stalin wants a recording but they didn't record it, so he like forces the band to play again, and it's a humor, and again that goes to what I'm saying, like it's like even culture is subordinate to terror in Russia at this time. It's just a nice
probably still is
to terror, you think?
Yeah, literally occurring now.
Oh, you mean like in Russia, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean Pussy Riot can attest to that. What was I going to say though? The shit. Oh yeah, now it's gone. Fuck. What? The well, that's sad. Culture subordinate to terror, and I wish we could rewind on that. Maybe it'll come back to me in a moment.
That's my bad. I'm always interrupting. My father was a warm and mighty bear. We are his 170 million orphaned cubs.
Oh, I remember. There we go.
Oh,
sorry.
good.
It was yeah. Sometimes I just need to hear a story about the mighty bear. The cubs of Azerbaijan. So Estonian cubs. So what really kind of did it for me when I after it cuts to Stalin and they're around the dinner table and Beria's there and Khrushchev's there and Molotov, like all the guys are there and they're goofing around and they're just like frat boys. And that moment, you haven't really been introduced to anybody yet. And then there's that moment where Khrushchev and Beria are like belly slamming against each other in slow motion. And the music swells, and it introduces their names and like watching them slowly like bash into each other. And it kind of like is this synecdoche of the movie itself. Here's the conflict between these two fucking idiots, and it's just going to be like this baboon fest. And I just threw my hands up in the air and I was like, yes, I was like, fuck this. Like I at that point I fell in love with the movie. Whereas prior to that, I was just sort of like really kind of entertained, kind of chuckling, I was like, this is a good setup. And I was like, oh shit, like there's teeth here. Like this is going to be gross. And yeah, it does not disappoint.
Yeah, it's true. And it really grew on me. Like, I feel like it took me a long time to like warm up to what was going on, but I think it's about the halfway mark where I was like, oh man, this is something.
Yeah. It's and it's not that it's a slow burn. It's just like I don't think it really announces its stakes right away. Like obviously it's in the title, Death of Stalin, which incidentally, comic book movie. No, this is a comic book adaptation.
Oh Jesus.
From a French comic. Which I haven't read because it's in French and the art looks like shit. I was like, really? This is an adaptation? Weird. Yeah, it's not that it's a slow burn, but the stakes aren't immediately apparent. But once they become apparent, and you realize that like you realize all the plates are spinning and they never fall. Everybody's like and it moves so fast. Like it does take a little while, and on second viewing, or even third viewing, like if you can just look at their faces more and like. It is about mannerisms. It is about like everyone's delivering these really I don't know, joyous performances. They're just having so much fun being monsters. It's like Dracula and Frankenstein just being dramatized here.
Yeah. I read your quote here now. Maybe he's the milk.
Oh, right.
or the lamb is the people and the milk is socialism. I like the priests too. I thought we'd ban those freaks.
Oh, those what does he call them? Shit, boyfriends of Jesus or something like that. Yeah.
It was circus. It was like total madness. And then when the funeral started, everything got worse. Fucking silly, fucking brain thieves and shit.
I like when they're standing around and they're trying to all look dignified, Tambor and Buscemi, and Buscemi's like, change places with me.
We can make it look like a ceremony. What the fuck are you doing?
And he has to go back to his place.
That was great.
Yeah.
You wonder how many, like, I wonder if any of that was ad lib. I'd have to look it up, but it seemed like there was probably room for the odd ad lib.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. But then again, like I was looking at some. Yeah, I was looking at some of the comic material. I was kind of flipping through just a little bit, and some of these scenes everything we saw looked like I saw very familiar things. So I don't know. But I wouldn't put it past this cast. It's fucking hilarious. Like everybody, and there's great chemistry between everybody too.
And these guys are funny guys. This would have been, I can imagine that I would think that this would be a set you'd want to be a part of.
Yeah. And it's not too small and it's not too big. It's obviously they're on, well, not obviously, because what do I know? But it seems like they're on site. I mean, I don't think they filmed this in Russia though, because Russia.
I don't think Russia
about this movie.
I don't think Russia would enjoy that. No.
Yeah.
Did they actually?
Yeah. It ended up being banned. Some theaters who played it got sued by the government. I only know this from Wikipedia, but more fucking propaganda, more Western lies.
That's
but yeah,
fucking hilarious.
Yeah, they were like,
I love that. I love that a good dictatorship does that kind of shit too. Gets all fucking passionate.
Yeah, and even especially since I don't think this movie has anything to say about Russia as Russia. Like, it has everything to say about a particular moment in of crisis within a dictatorship generally. Again, I keep saying this is like the reason this movie chills me is not because it's about Russia, it's about politics and human politics generally, and it just happens to be about that subject, using the example of Stalinism and the death of Stalin. But of course they're not going to draw those nuances, right? They're just going to be like, some people really still like Stalin, I guess. I don't know. Fuck. I'm not sure why.
To each their own, I guess. I mean, and it's and really, like, I don't know. I don't know why you'd get passionate about a movie like that anyway. It's like,
comedy's the word. If you make fun of something, you delegitimize it in a way that, maybe it's trite to say, but that's why you have the clown, the court jester, right? Because they'll speak truth.
It's true, but I mean, like, show some self-awareness. Like, everyone knows it's a shithole.
Yeah. I don't know if it was as much a shithole at the time. It was probably pretty.
Seemed like a better place actually with Stalin there, but.
Gotta get that.
I don't know.
That's kind of the thinking, I guess. I don't know. In 2017. Is this really? Yeah, because racist grandpa had come to power by this time. I'd forgotten. 2017 was so long ago. Like half a decade at this point. That's chilling. Yeah. So I don't know. Did anything else? Is there any particular scene we missed or anything like that? I'm watching them kill the guys in the gulags and then they just stop.
You're the one guy they shoot in the face right while he's getting ordered to stop.
Yeah, he's like, stop.
He's just like a red splat on the wall.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was I still feel shocked by the content.
Mm-hmm.
Even getting a 1/3 truth story. So I think I just have to. I think I definitely 100% want to sort of put this on a little bit of a list for myself as something I think I'm gonna enjoy seeing again. That's very rare too.
Yeah.
Where I'm gonna take more away from this like a second time, or like, because normally if I want to watch something a second time, it's pretty superficial.
Yeah, this one's got like an American Psycho vibe to me, as far as like it's that type of longevity where you just like American Psycho doesn't shock anymore, even though it really should. But like I watch it to just watch all the like everybody's performance, and
I actually you know what, there's a movie that I bought when we were younger, and it was hailed between John Bell and maybe you and I as like this big thing, Hurly Burly.
Oh yeah.
And I'd like to go back and see that and see if it's actually clever, or if the dialogue's good, or if the performances are good. I assume they are, because those are pretty powerful actors. But
yeah, I remember. I do think like it's been easily decades since I've seen it, but I do recall it. You know, it's Kevin Spacey, right? And is it Danny?
Yeah, and Kevin Spacey's and Kevin and Sean Penn. Kevin Spacey's been a little bit canceled also, though, so his movies
it's true
on a bit of a back burner for I don't know what he's up to, molesting minors.
I don't know. Yeah,
it was like grooming minors or something.
Wouldn't be the first time.
He's up to no good.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I'm really glad you watched it. I'm really glad you like it. This one snuck under the radar. Like I didn't think I'd love it as much. Like obviously I enjoyed it, but I didn't expect it to have. Even though I liked it, I didn't think it would have the longevity it has. But when I was thinking about movies that, you know, for the no veto, I was like, what's a good one, you know, and it was a no brainer for me. It just popped right in there, like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and and here we are. So there's Sukov right there.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Coming on in. Yeah. So I don't know. He just what made me think of the slow motion thing is he just pulled off his coat in slow motion and like fixed his jacket.
That's like a running gag when they rip their jackets off and get like sort of broadcasted in whatever, you know, in slow motion. It was like that's how they all get introduced. It was good.
Yeah. So we have another comic book adaptation movie that we're going to be tackling next. Is this we only do comic book movies here on the X-tinction Agenda.
Do we?
Apparently. Time Cop, man. You wanted to do Time Cop.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Unless you want to change your pick, you like in front of everyone right now. But
no. Time Cop is
So yeah, we're gonna go back in time. I have no recollection of that fucking movie. So
you know what's hilarious too is it's actually Jean-Claude Van Damme's biggest grossing box office movie of his entire career.
No kidding. Wow. Okay. Well, all right. So anyway, next time for No Veto are the short little forays into whatever the fuck it is we feel like watching at any given time. Time Cop. Show up.
Georgie, you have to sign this now.
No, he deserves a fair trial. He's one of us.
What about Tukhachevsky and Pietrikov? Did they get a trial? What about Sokolnikov, who begged him to look after his elderly mother? And what did this monster do? He strangled her in front of him. It's too late. The only choice we have is between his death or his revenge. And you will fucking sign this.
I wanted to go on record. This was not my first course of action.
Stalin will be loving this.